International ICT BPO Investment Forum was held in Mauritius on 24th and 25th June, was initiated by the Ministry of ICT Mauritius. This forum surprised many foreign delegates and realized the amount of opportunities existing in Africa and in Mauritius. We talked to connoisseurs of BPO industry. What is the future of BPO sector?
What has happened over the last 3-4 years is there has been a dramatic shift in the way the BPO industry has been operating for the past 10 years. And there are key driving factors now which has contributed to this change. The first is you're moving from the traditional transactional based approach to a more transformational approach. And what I mean by that is so far the industry has been driven on a cost basis, is how do companies lower costs. Companies are now demanding that we are not only interested in lowering costs, but we are actually interested in how you can add more value. So that's a big change. The second change, of course, is you're seeing the integration of IT with BPO. What that means now is companies are using technology platforms to make the BPO process more efficient. So this is another significant change. What it also implies is that vendors who have strong IT skills are going to actually benefit because they can add IT to the BPO platform. The third, of course, and which is relevant for Mauritius, is that most companies are diversifying their risks. Hence, what they're doing is not only moving to multi-vendors, but they're also moving to multiple geographic locations. And as a result, you're seeing a lot of emerging destinations where companies are setting up delivery centers. And the last, of course, is that from a pricing which was based on number of manned seats which the service provider had, companies are demanding now outcome-based pricing. Hence, what they're telling the vendors that we are no longer going to operate on a fixed cost basis, but we are also going to give you the upside of sharing in any additional revenues you bring us.
Two things. One, the term BPO or any other O has become meaningless. It has been meaningless for the last 5 years. It's important for us to realize that it is not about an operational pursuit, but about a strategic, value-driven endeavor. Whether you call it BPO, whether you call it KPO, it doesn't really matter for the client. What matters for the client is that there is uncertainty in their business, and there is a need to reduce that uncertainty and create competitiveness through partners. So from an outsourcing standpoint, that business model allows to establish partnerships from a strategic standpoint. So when we talk about BPO, I'm more interested in the B and P as in the O. So automatically, the demand to focus on the strategic means that service providers will have to get closer to understanding their clients' businesses, not necessarily just projecting the fact that they can do something cheaper, faster, better.
Mauritius has a unique opportunity on the global marketplace. It's a small country, multicultural, which I think is a strategic advantage for the country in the sense of being open-minded, open hearts. The more perspectives you have in a country, I think the more effective the country can be in growing its industries. I also believe that it seems like there are a tremendous number of very, very bright CEOs and entrepreneurs here at the conference. So I'm very impressed with many of the people that I've met. And I think the other thing that may be worth noting is the initiative to target Africa and become the hub for Africa is a very strategic initiative by the government. So I'm very impressed that a big vision has been put out there in the marketplace. What really has to happen now are specific strategies and tactics to execute upon that vision in an effective manner over the coming couple of years. But it's a strong and aggressive vision, and I like that.
In BPO sector, how you see the role of Africa in the world and the role of Mauritius in Africa?
You do have bilingual skills. so do other countries. So you really now have to decide on how are you going to add value to the customer from your BPO centers located here. And what that means is you need to specialize in certain vertical domains. The two which obviously come to mind where Mauritius as a republic has very strong strengths. One is of course in the hospitality domain, and second is in the financial services. So I think for Mauritius to become a destination for BPO service providers, you will have to develop those skill sets within the BPO centers, because the cost game is no longer relevant because 20 other emerging nations can be cheaper. So that's the role I think Mauritius can play in the BPO domain. Mauritius, in my opinion, can effectively become what Singapore did 20 years ago, to become the gateway to the Far East. What that implies though is you need to have strong infrastructure in IT, which I believe Mauritius is already on the right path.
I would recommend would be the same strategies and tactics that I would recommend to a company in Latin America expanding into the US. Firstly, you have to really understand what your value is, what the value is that your company delivers into the market. And then secondly, understanding who your target customer is, and then getting very deep into their business so that you understand how your value message will help their business. Africa, from my understanding, is very relationship based, and having a network on the ground of people who can tell you who to talk to, who are the key influencers, who are the thought leaders, things like that are going to be very critical to the success of growing the business in Africa.
Bobby, you were the organizer partner through your leading consulting firm, Matryzel Consulting. What is your expert view?
The emphasis was on achieving two things basically, is identifying potential investors and international leaders who are looking at globalizing their services footprint, looking to leverage a country for a greater purpose of accessing new markets in Africa. And I guess from the last couple of years, Mauritius has been, endowing itself to become a regional hub for the larger continent. So that was one of our primary goals, to enable that entire process of creating a regional hub. The second goal obviously has been to make those discussions happen, to get to a point of understanding what it takes to create a regional hub, what are some of those competitive aspects, what are some of those threats, and some of those conversations around maturity with technology, processes, business models, and of course, in a general sense of the term, competing in a fiercely competitive marketplace while relevance and obsolescence are near realities all the time.
Thank you for watching, and next week we will bring more insight views for you. Meanwhile, if you have any comment, please do not hesitate to write to us.